Hello everyone, back into today's first video. We're going to have a look at the weather for next week, 10 days for today's first video. And that will take us to around the 12th of April, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles over to around a couple of weeks. Have a look at Beijing Climate Center at the end of the video for the next 40 days. That'll take us into early May. So we're going to be giving you the third Easter update this evening. So if you want to have a look, this video will cover Easter, but if you want to have a look in depth at what could be happening for Easter, that's going to be today's second video update coming up later on into this evening at the channel and also on gazweathers.com. Talking of Easter, we're going to be giving away a prize again this spring. So we like to do a competition around the Easter period. We are, of course, in lockdown at the moment, but I didn't want anyone to miss out on the opportunity to win a prize with Gazweathers. So we're teaming back up with metcheck.co.uk or Weather Instrumentation. There's going to be a competition that we'll be launching on Sunday, and we'll be going all the way through to Easter Sunday when we will announce the winner of that competition. Much more about that to come in the next couple of days. But yes, we may be in lockdown, but we are going to be having a spring/Easter giveaway for you again this year. I didn't want anybody to miss out on that. Now, for anything else, I've got to say a big thank you to our latest donor. We've had a new donation through PayPal for Gazweathers. This donor would like to stay anonymous. So that's absolutely fine if anybody wants to give a donation to Gazweathers, but they'd rather stay anonymous. That's not a problem whatsoever. I know who this person is. They know who they are. They're going to be watching the video today. And actually, we're going to be looking up their location in the ensemble section of the video coming up later on as well. So this person knows who they are, I know who they are, and just a big thank you to them for their donation. Thank you so much for doing that. Been totally blown away by the response over the past couple of weeks. I've been saying in videos, of course, that we're in this crisis with the coronavirus, and it's causing, as well as a health crisis, and it is primarily a medical crisis, also causing an economic crisis. And the money that we generate from the advertisements, we are primarily ads funded, but money we generate from the advertisements has collapsed away in the past couple of weeks, and so we're looking for other revenue streams just keep us going until the ads start picking up. Hopefully they'll start picking up soon. I'm thinking maybe about June the ad rates might start recovering, but at the moment they're very low, and so we're looking for other revenue streams like PayPal, like Patreon. Very helpful. If you can give a donation to Gazweathers, that's absolutely great, but only do so if you can afford to. It's a difficult time for everybody, and I do appreciate that. So please only donate if you can absolutely afford to do so. And as I keep saying in videos, we're going to get through this crisis. We're going to get through it by coming together as a community and looking after one another. We're going to keep the videos going to Gazweathers. We're going to keep the content going for you to be able to watch and to hopefully enjoy and take your mind off this crisis a little bit. But we will get through it. Just say that if you'd like to give a donation to Gazweathers, all you need to do is come to Gazweathers' PayPal page. You sign into your PayPal account and give whatever donation you would like to Gazweathers. You'll get a mention in videos as long as you want one. There's also Patreon. Got 61 patrons at the moment. Hello, and thank you very much to our 61 patrons. If you'd like to become a patron to Gazweathers, all you need to do is come to Gazweathers' Patreon page. You sign up for a Patreon account. You don't already have one. I mean, give an ongoing monthly donation to Gazweathers. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards, and that's how you become a patron for Gazweathers. Whether you do it through Patreon, whether you do it through PayPal, you're going to get a mention in videos. We'll say thank you for doing that as long as you want. And if you'd rather stay anonymous, that's fine. No problem whatsoever. And we'll just thank you as we just did and say thank you to this anonymous person. So a big thank you to all of our PayPal donors. A big thank you to all of our patrons as well. So I'm completely blown away by the response. You are incredibly kind people, and thank you so much, everybody, for the way you are supporting gas overs. And my promise to you is that we will keep going with the content. Definitely, we're going to keep recording, we're going to keep uploading. All of the written content at the website gasweathers.com will be continuing as well. I've got a blog update coming up for you this evening, looking at UK Met Office contingency planners guidance. I'm a little bit late with that, but that will be up this evening. Terry Scoley's April forecast was released at gasweathers.com yesterday, so all of the content is going to keep going. And we're going to keep going as long as we possibly can. So a big thank you to all of our PayPal donors and all of our patrons. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so let's get on with it. And we're going to start off with some pictures that were sent through to us at the weekend. A little bit late with these from our good friend Liam Kenwood down in Maidstone in Kent. So had some big hail down in Kent over the weekend, and yes, we can see some proper old hailstones there, almost what you're thinking of to be snow, aren't they? And Liam told me that he did have wintry showers as well as hail showers. I think there was a little bit of snow down in Maidstone, only very temporarily over the weekend. So big thank you to Liam for sending those pictures through. I say there was some very excitable showers over the weekend. If you've got any pictures of the showers that occurred last weekend, then please email them to us at gasweathers@gmail.com or share them with us on our social media accounts. When you get a bit of time, we're happy to feature those pictures in the videos. But a big thank you to Liam for sending those through. It looks like there was some very intense hail down there in Maidstone over the weekend. Right, this is how the Arctic Oscillation observed and forecast is looking. So black line shows where we've been with the Arctic Oscillation. Red lines the GFS ensembles forecasting the Arctic Oscillation to go. Remember, it's just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, not driving anything. So in terms, it just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So when the AO is in its positive phase, as it has been for many months now overall, when the AO is in its positive phase, you've got low pressure up over the pole, and you will have a quite intense polar vortex through the winter months in any case. When the AO is negative, you have high pressure blocking up over the pole, and blocking is the route to push cold air out of the pole and down into the mid-latitude. So where we are right now, the Arctic Oscillation is just weakly positive. And the GFS ensembles are forecasting that the AO is going to stay in its positive phase for the next couple of weeks. So going through the first half of April, it doesn't look like there's a change on the way really in terms of the Arctic setup. It looks as though overall, a few days ago we was flirting with the idea of sending the AO negative, but it looks like overall the AO is going to be staying in this very prolonged positive phase through towards the middle of April anyway, let's say. Nowhere near as positive as it was back in the winter, of course. It was up here at record-breaking positive levels with the AO back in the winter. We've come down from that level, but still overall the AO is on its positive side for the next couple of weeks. Have seen a significant change with the NAO though. So the black line again shows where we've been with the North Atlantic Oscillation. Red lines at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the North Atlantic Oscillation to go. Now we are in a negative phase of the NAO right now. That's where we are at the moment. The GFS ensemble is actually forecasting that the NAO will go more negative through the opening days of April, and then we're going to keep the NAO in its negative phase through towards the middle of April. So very significant change. You'll see that through the last few months, the NAO has generally been in its positive phase. Very significant change though for April. NAO in its negative phase. So when you've got the AO positive and the NAO negative, what tends to happen is that the atmosphere kind of fights with itself. And this is trying to get us into probably quite an extended blocking pattern, but without the northern blocking within the northern latitudes, we're probably going to struggle to do that a little bit. But it is interesting how the NAO has gone significantly negative at the same time as the AO is staying within its positive phase. We'll keep a close eye on what's happening there over the next few days, I'm quite sure. These are the GFS, no they're not, these are the 500 millibar high dominant flow charts from the Penn State University for the next week, 10 days. We've got the ECMWF on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in absolute high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Right, so it's high pressure blue to low pressure. The ECM in the week to 10 day time frame, which does take us to around the 12th of April. The ECM has this area of above average height sitting very close to the UK across much of northern and central Europe. Low pressure is pushed out to the northwest with the jet stream. And that doesn't look too bad at all, does it? You would expect a lot of dry weather with that, and you would have thought quite warm conditions as well. The GFS is very similar. So again, it has this area of above average height sitting over and to the south and to the east of the country as well. Below average heights out in the North Atlantic. Jet stream again is being pushed northwards. Again, you'll think quite a bit of dry weather with that and relatively warm conditions as we are around this Easter period. So it doesn't look too bad at all in terms of the 500 millibar height anomalies for, let's say, around the Easter period. Looks like it should be relatively anticyclonic and hopefully quite warm too. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average. We're at Andover today. And if you'd like to have your local town or city featured within this section of video, then all you need to do is email us at gasoffice@gmail.com or ask us via our social media accounts. We're always happy to feature your local town or city within this part of the video. So, at the moment, a little bit cold average with the upper air temperatures at Andover. They're going to be lifting up into the weekend. They're going to have a nice push of pretty warm air over the weekend. Certainly could lift temperatures across the east parts of the country into the upper teens Celsius, maybe to around 20 degrees. Bit of a drop there around Monday, then the temperature's lifting up again as we go through the rest of next week. So next week should be relatively mild, if not quite warm. Then we go into more extended range, heading up into the middle and then second half of April. Quite a lot of scatter then. So most of the ensemble members are still relatively mild. Some are going colder around the middle part of April though, so it could be a mid-month cold snap. And overall, it does look as though temperatures do come down a little bit as we get towards the middle of April. I have to say, it looks like they trend upwards from the weekend through to next week, and then possibly start to trend downwards as we go in towards the middle of April. That's a very long way off. That's very extended range, so it is, of course, unreliable. As far as precipitation is concerned, quite a bit of dry weather coming up over the next few days, gradually starting to get more unsettled as we move towards the middle part of the month, perhaps, but certainly not overly unsettled, not overly wet in the next week to 10 days, let's say, anyway. Temperature anomalies from the 2nd to 10th of April, very close to or maybe slightly above average. So we are trending mild. Remember a couple of days ago, these charts showed most of Europe with significantly below average temperature anomalies. But it looks like we're going above average from the 2nd to the 10th of April. It is going to get milder. It is going to get warmer, although it's not a significant anomaly. But definitely a warming trend there for the next week. Precipitation anomaly still looking relatively dry. So a bit wetter than average for the far northwest of Scotland, but most parts of the UK coming out drier than average. So dry, yes, still, but quite a bit milder than we've been used to. That's how the GFS is looking for Sunday. So on Sunday, we're drawing up this southerly wind. We've got low pressure to west, high pressure to the east. We're drawing wind up from the south. And that should push the temperatures up into the teens, upper teens Celsius across some east parts of the country. We might get around 20 degrees on sunny afternoon in the east. Cold front comes across the country, sunny through to Monday, brings a band of rain, and it turns cooler and fresher. But then high pressure is back in as we go through towards the middle of next week. That high pressure sitting over to the east country, low pressure out to west. Again, the wind is drawing up from the south, so a lot of dry and potentially quite warm weather with that as we go into the middle of next week. High pressure is maintained through to Good Friday, so we begin Easter with high pressure sitting off the east coast of Scotland, low pressures out to our west, winds are from the south-southeast, should be mainly dry, and you would have thought quite warm. Now, to get through to Saturday the 11th, and then Easter Sunday, we do see the Atlantic breaking through some degree, so there is some rain coming across the country over this Easter weekend, but you notice the Azores high is starting to re-establish itself to the southwest by Easter Sunday. And of course, as we get beyond Easter Sunday through to Easter Monday, which is the 13th of April, then the high pressure is beginning to intensify. So bringing mainly dry weather to England and Wales, could still be a little bit showery. Scotland overnight. It doesn't look too bad at all, that GFS run for Easter. Beyond that, into more extended range, it starts to turn more unsettled. There's a northerly cold snap being indicated there by the 18th of April. We saw it on the GFS ensembles. There is a possibility around middle of the month we might bring down some cold air from the north, have a cold snap. That's a very long way off. It's in the really extended and unreliable time frame of the GFS and its ensemble. So I don't think we need to worry too much about that at the moment. But mid-April is a time when you can get cold snaps sometimes. GM looks like that. So on Sunday, warm southerly winds with rain out to the north and to the west too. Then low pressure breaks through, through to Monday into middle of next week. Again, high pressure is sitting to our south and east. Lots of dry and you'd have thought quite warm weather with that. Moving in towards the Easter period, looks a little bit unsettled there for Good Friday. But beyond that, the high pressure begins to re-establish itself. That's Easter Sunday, 12th of April, and yes, we're under an area of high pressure looking mainly dry and hopefully quite warm with that as well. ECM, again, southerly winds on Sunday, drawing up warm air from the south. Then a cold front goes across the country Sunday through to Monday, bringing a band of rain. After that, high pressure sort of re-establishes itself through to the middle of next week. A lot of dry and pretty warm weather on offer there. That's Maundy Thursday. Low pressure's coming in off the Atlantic, bringing some rain. That clears away through to Good Friday. And again, the high pressure re-establishes itself by Easter Sunday, 12th of April, just starting to bring weather system into the northwest with some cloud and rain there. England and Wales mainly dry. So we're sort of on the periphery between having a very settled and quite warm Easter and having a largely relatively settled Easter, but with some rain at times. There's a bit of a duel going on between the model output for this Easter weekend in terms of the exact detail of how settled and warm it is. More about that in the third Easter update coming up later on. This is the option that's on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met offices. It is for the 12th of April, which is Easter Sunday. 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles have above average heights, very close to the UK, below average heights out to west and weaker pressure to the northwest. Suggests there's a lot of dry weather on offer as we go into this Easter period, but the exact detail is pinpointing if we get weather systems coming in off the Atlantic, albeit quite weak ones. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 17th of April. We have 19 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure sitting over the country, so obviously that's going to bring a lot of dry and fine weather with it. 18 with high pressure sort of to our south and east, low pressure up to the northwest. Again, you would have thought quite a bit of dry weather with that option too. And then 14 look like they're going for a cold snap. These are going for a mid-April cold snap in line with what the GFS operation run that just saw is going for, with low pressure to the east and probably bring down a northerly wind. With those. Only 14 going for that at the moment. But there is a possibility, there's potential for a bit of a cold snap around the middle of April. We'll know more about that next week, I would have thought. Finally, the Beijing Climate Center, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down to 10-day periods. The first 10-day period takes us from the 1st to the 10th of April, the coming 10 days with low pressure over the country or clearing away to the east. High pressure is out to the west. So, actually, that's a bit of a strange anomaly to be starting off, because I think there's going to be a lot more in wet. You look at that and think it's going to be very unsettled opening 10 days of April. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as unsettled as you might have thought from that anomaly. There will be rain at times, as we've already established, but overall, I think we're more on the anticyclonic side, really, in the next 10 days. The next 10 days taking us from the 11th to the 20th of April. Then we do see establishment of above average heights with low pressure out to the northwest. Jet streams being pushed northwards as well. So obviously that's settling things down and should be reasonably dry, quite warm too. The next 10 period also anticyclonic, 21st to 30th of April, above average heights centred over to the east of the country, low pressure out to the northwest, jet streams pushed northwards, a lot of dry and probably quite warm weather with that too. And then the following 10-day period takes us into May, can you believe? It's the 1st through to the 10th of May with above average heights. Again, very close to the country, below average heights out to the northwest. Jet stream is pushed northwards like that. So after that rather strange opening 10-day anomaly for April, we do eventually see a lot of anticyclonic influence from the Beijing Climate Center, and you would have thought if this was to come off like this is suggesting, we're in for plenty of dry and quite warm weather through much of April, and it could extend into May too. So not too bad at all. Beijing Climate Center is right, despite that rather odd-looking opening for the first 10 days. We'll worry about more exchange range when we get to it. So what we're going to focus on is what's happening next week. So we're going to, of course, get the warm push of southerly winds on Sunday, but we'll turn a bit more unsettled early next week before high pressure sort of re-establishes around the middle of next week, probably. And then through to Easter, it's a question of whether the high pressure dominates throughout the Easter period. If it does, we'll have quite a dry and warm Easter, or whether the high pressure will just allow weather systems to come in from the Atlantic. If they do, they'll probably bring some showery bursts at times, and it may not be a completely dry Easter period. But even then, I think overall the prospects for this Easter are not looking too bad. There's certainly no sign of anything particularly alarming coming up. Maybe hints of a cold snap around the middle of April, but that's a really, really long way off. I don't think we need to worry about that at the moment. Right, that's it for your week's 10-day video update. So come back later on when we'll have a more detailed look at Easter. We're going to be updating the blog at gavs.this.com tonight with the latest update for UK Met Contingency Planners Guidance. And tomorrow, have JMA Friday, another week's 10-day video update coming up for you. Loads of updates over the weekend as well, including another live stream on the channel on Sunday afternoon between 5 and 6 o'clock. And of course, on Sunday, we'll be launching our competition with metcheck.co.uk. So a lot to be focusing on at channel and website over the next few days. Hope you're enjoying the content, and we'll be back later on with your third Easter update. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.